Supply chain has a lot of technology in it. We talked in the first section about business processes, how we get our act together inside the organization, breaking down silos internally, and then start having some good cross communication to build a long term relationship, the thing we call trust, which doesn't exist. And sometimes it shouldn't exist for a while in organizations to make certain you know who and what they are. That's a big deal. And trust is only built over a period of time of good communication and good follow through to see what the specifications are with that organization, see how much they match yours. Once you do that, you start having the entire business processes up and down the supply chain all aligned. And when you're doing that, also, you need to look at the technology components, which is actually a big deal. You have different levels, just like you had in the business processes. You have four different categories of IT systems. You really have batch processing. I remember batch processing with IBM cards. Yes, once upon a time, computers had little itty bitty cards for data seeking on it, and you focused on spreadsheets and manipulations and everything else to gather data for decision making. Level two is sharing data across the supply chain. Does that sound familiar? Okay, that also is not just part of the business process, it's part of the IT process as well, making certain you're sharing data securely across your entire chain. And that whole issue of cybersecurity, that is up to the IT department as well as the top administration of every organization to make certain that it's secure with the most up-to-date stuff, because it is a real world and a real danger today of cyber hackers and cyber crime. Don't be subject to it because of the fact you decided not to put money into it. That is about the most foolish thing you can do today in our type of economy. Level three is complete visibility of internal data. There are some great illustrations in our text about that, about how you're sharing different aspects, and you'll have a reduction overall between inventory at all levels. And we all know that reducing inventory and making certain, though, that we have the right inventory at the right location at the right time, that is the most important part of the supply chain. You're not going to get there until you start hitting level three. You go back to level two, you share data, that's good. This is even better, complete visibility. But once again, that also aligns with the aspect of the business processes to making certain that your IT system is matching your business processes. You want to make certain that's there. And finally, once you hit the ultimate aspect of it, level four, data and process are shared internally and externally, because you can actually trust those people over there because you've been working with them. You have solid contracts and everybody's honored that. Everybody follows through and does what they say they're going to do. Actually keeping your word still seems to be pretty fashionable today in business, just like it was 100 years ago. That's really a part of character, but now we have the character and the ability to ensure it happens as we monitor the contracts even better with different aspects in IT. You have a lot of different planning points within data collection. Strategic planning. Strategic planning really is long term. When we use it in regular decision making, strategic, use the word strategic, it's 3 years plus and it's way out there and it's big picture. But it also is right here for network design, inventory position, manufacturing strategy. It's big picture. Where are you going to put the manufacturing? We had an illustration previously where, oh, we're going to shut down from 40. We're going to reduce everything down to 17 places. Well, that could be really stupid because of the fact all of a sudden there's no manufacturing in the United States whatsoever, and we're shipping everything in. That wasn't a smart move. So we looked at the aspect of changing how we go about doing that. You have to pay attention to everything in the process for big picture planning, and pay attention to your demand planning, another area of planning, supply planning, making sure you have that chain. And this is all about data collection, supply demand balancing, the trade off between collecting data left and right. You might say we're trying to coin a phrase in the process. Procurement planning, manufacturing planning, delivery planning. You're planning everything. There should be stuff all across the whole aspect, and they should intermingle between them, because a lot of times these people, they're doing the silo planning over here, supply demand balancing, and you have a silo here, procurement planning over here. No, they need to share their plans together and talk to each other, making certain you're all talking. It's nice to have your plan. You sit down there and have a cute little portfolio, and here's your plan, your notebook sitting on your shelf, saying, oh, we're so smart, except nobody else knows about your plan and nobody can integrate it with you because it's secret. You can't share with that. pay attention to the reality. It's called the mature business process. And if you have it, you're going to lower your inventory. Talking across the chain, making certain your IT people are talking and the data is being shared is a big thing. A lot of time investing only in IT structure doesn't do anything except lead to significant inefficiencies, in my opinion, especially try to avoid those house-grown things on top of that. Whenever you see these 4 boxes, no matter what happens, it's always in the top right-hand corner. It's always that box C, however you label that box, that's always the cool thing. You got box A, immature business processes and immature IT systems. Of course, it's going to be bad. That is the beginning of the whole process. You got to figure out you really have immature business processes, immature IT systems. And B, mature business processes and immature, well, everything is focused towards that one corner, trying to have that mature business process and really have some type of natural IT systems that matches the business processes with high communication and high data sharing. You always want to have that. Box B, below average business performance. Box B, better than A, but not as good as it could be. C, it's improving. And then finally D, that performance is worse. So the C is the ultimate one, the top right-hand corner. It's kind of always that way. Over here, you want to collect information, vacuum up every single little tidbit out over there, plan, analyze the activities, make trade-offs based on the information, link that production point seamlessly as you best you possibly can between the actual manufacturer of the goods all the way to the end user, that they're receiving it in exactly the way you plan to at the right time to the right people. That really helps an awful lot. And it only happens when you're sharing that data. Supply chain tech components, collect that information, access the data, not just to you, but everybody up and down that supply chain, and then analyze based upon the supply chain data, and then share the data across the entire spectrum. If one section isn't doing well, the issue isn't to go around fix blame and hang it around them. The issue is everybody pitches in to figure out how they can make it even better, because maybe they're not getting the good data from here, even though the reports show that. So pay attention up and down the supply chain. And if there's an issue out there, deal with the issue, find out what their inputs and outputs are and why, and then collaborate with your supply chain partners, sharing that data. That's a big component of having a great IT system. Take care.